At this time, we have a minute for mission. Our good friend, Mr. Bill McCrary, who is doing a fantastic job leading us in this campaign. Bill, we're so glad to have you and your talents and your abilities, and we're going to make it with a little bit of God's help, aren't we?
Thank you. Yes, we are. You know what? Ben asked me to read the results of the winning team for the barbecue rib cook-off, so I've got the results here if you'll bear with me. It got rained on. I can't read it. You know, I said last night, it's kind of amazing how things have changed in 5 years. You know, you may know that 5 years ago, we almost launched this same campaign. And I want you to take it back to that date for just a minute. Long-range planning had done their work, created the project. Session had approved the project. We'd hired a campaign consultant. We were literally meeting in the church probably 5 years ago, probably this week. And you all may remember what happened between the time the session met and that meeting that night. It was during the time of the elections when the economy kind of crashed on us. The stock market dropped 30–40%. The banks were in a state of chaos. A few of us met shortly before that meeting, and we decided to pull the plug on the campaign. And that was a dark day. Well, that was 5 years ago. Meanwhile, the preschool, under Jane Jermack's guidance, has thrived as it always has. We continue to have a waiting list. We continue to send people to other churches to get the same resources because we're maxed on our space. And because of code issues, we can't provide certain things like daycare for all of our working parents. So miraculously, like a year ago, Ben started being approached by a number of people. Back in the fall of last year, he was approached by several people who more or less said, Ben, what's it going to take to get this thing going? And 3 or 4 people approached Ben with commitments totaling more than $325,000 to get this campaign going. So at the advice of some, we hired Bill Strawn to help us. Bill's done a lot of work at Montreat. Bill, you here this morning? You want to stick your hand up? Where's Bill? There he is, at the very back. You may know Bill. Bill's done a lot of wonderful work at Montreat. And Bill came to us and he said, you know what? Let's start small. Let's start small. Let's make sure that we have the traction that we think we have. So we created a message. We went out and spoke to some people. They went out and spoke to some people. That group went out and spoke to some people. And I'm proud to say that at this point in time, we have $1.6 million in commitments from people who are behind this campaign. So with that in mind, I want you to know that it's a big campaign, but it's an unbelievably worthy campaign. What we have is an opportunity. In fact, certain things have happened over that period of time that made this all possible, which is what makes the story so interesting. During the course of that 5 years, the land became available around the church office, which gave us some really strategic footage on 76, a much better site for our preschool. You may know that it was going to be basically in the parking lot below the gym originally. Next is we're going to have the opportunity to move our church offices, upfit the fellowship building to have a much more professional church office. But more importantly, maybe most importantly, that as of February of 2014, we will retire our debt on this sanctuary. So here's the interesting part, folks. There was a little bit of an elephant in the room 5 years ago when we were going to do this because we had $500,000 in debt on the sanctuary. And now, just about the time that we'll have to reconsider where we are, we will retire the debt on the sanctuary. So we have a graphical representation here. I think we have a couple of young ladies that are going to show us where we are. We've been told that the ideal situation, to have the best possible situation with the banks, we need a total of $2.4 million in commitments. What you see here is a graphical representation that shows you, once we color that in, we'll be at 2.4. Right now, we're at 1.6. So, folks, we're 2/3 of the way. We need $800,000, as Bo says, in the next 30 days. You know, but this is a lofty goal, but it's a worthy goal. We have an opportunity to enhance and grow our existing daycare. We have an opportunity to create a daycare that we haven't had before, and a wonderful nursery right here next to our building. So we hope that there's an insert in your bulletin that'll tell you all about this campaign. But if you will, figure out how you can get involved, and we hope you'll all prayerfully consider what your role needs to be in this campaign. Thank you very much, and God bless.